All right, muscle heads, I am Trey Wires, and today I'm going to be showing you how to tap into the fuse box of your car, okay? It's real easy, don't panic. It's real easy. Now, it's a few things you're going to need first, okay? You're going to need this light tester. There's no way of getting around it. You will need a light tester. It's under $10, so don't panic. If you broke, it's under $10. You got $10. Stop lying, okay? Then you're going to figure out how you want to tap it. You're going to either going to get some spade taps, or you're going to get these double head adapters, and they come in different sizes. So you got to pick which size you need. Okay, whether this is a mini. Let me show you the standard. If you weren't working with a standard fuse, this will be the standard. This will be the mini. We're going to get into all that later on, though. I'm just showing you what you need for right now. You're going to need some fuses. And I'm going to also show you how to tap into the old school. Hold on. I'm going to show you how to tap into the old school fuse box as well, okay? You see those glass fuses? If you got a tube fuse, I'm gonna show you how to also tap into those tube fuses. And these are the spade connector taps for the tube fuses, aka glass fuses. The link for everything is in the description if you need it, okay? All right, let's get into it. Okay, muscle heads, before we get started, let me show you exactly how tapping a fuse works, all right? So, right here we have a battery. This is our fuse box. This is light 1, this is light 2. Now, we're gonna tap this fuse box so that we can light up light 2, okay? You already have light 1 right here. It runs 5 amps. Light 2 runs 5 amps. This is a 7.5 amp fuse that we're running right here. All right. Now listen, before you tap a fuse, you have to tap on the battery side. Right here, you have to tap this prong right here on the battery side. This is your component side. It's essential that you tap on the battery side. Now, the reason why you don't tap on the component side is because right now this draws 5 amps of electricity. Let's say this light 1 is 5 amps, light 2 is 5 amps. Together they are 10 amps. So then you will be drawing 10 amps through this fuse. And if you draw 10 amps through a 7.5 fuse, you will pop the fuse. So it's essential that you tap the fuse from the battery side. So this is our normal connection right here. You see when you plug a fuse into a fuse box, it's a gap. It's a gap that the electricity is not reaching the light or the component. So if I take this fuse out, then I disconnect this and the component won't work. I push the fuse in and you see that little, let me show you. This is what the electricity actually goes through to get to the other side of the prong. So the electricity travels through one end and comes out the other, but it goes through that little silver piece right there. And when you blow a fuse, that silver piece literally breaks. Okay, so we finished our double head fuse adapter. You see, I just hooked it up to a light. And now you can hook it up to anything you want. I just hooked it up to a light just to show you guys how it looks and how it works. So I got the wire connected. I got the power wire running right here. It's running to the fuse. So the right-hand side on this is the component. So that means this left terminal right here, wherever we plug it into, is going to be the battery side. This is the component side, clearly, because it's running to the component. And this fuse right here at the top is going to be the top to my electrical component that I'm tapping. This one at the bottom is going to be the original one. So I'm going to pull the original fuse out and put it inside the second slot at the bottom. So go to your fuse box, pull the original fuse out, put it right here, and it's going to fuse the original component that you're tapping into. Slide this back into the slot that you pulled this fuse out of. And it's that simple. And this light bulb should light up. Don't forget to ground. Once you ground this, and I'm gonna put it in the car and I'm gonna ground it for you just to show you that the light bulb is going to then light up. All right, muscle heads, when you're looking for a fuse, right, it's gonna be 3 powers that you look for. One is gonna be constant power. This is when the car is off and the fuse still has power. This is things like your cigarette lighter or a USB port that can still power the car on even though the car is off. Next up is gonna be your accessory power. This is when the car is actually turned on. This is things like the radio or the AC, things like that. They're wired directly to the accessory power, windshield wipers, all that. Then you got ignition power. This is when you actually start the car, right? So it's like, you know how you start the car? This would be the wire when you actually turn in the key. When you're turning the key, this wire will have power to it. And it's usually only with starter wires, things like that. Very rarely do you tap anything to the ignition power. You're going to look for the constant or the accessory depending on what you actually need it for. So if you need it to be on 100% of the time, even when the car is off, constant power is what you're going to be tapping. If you need it to be on only when the car is on, accessory power is what you're going to be tapping. If you need it for when you only turning the key, starting the car, then ignition power is going to be on. But it's very rare that you go use ignition power. You're only going to be looking for constant or accessory. All right, now let's go tap some fuses. All right, so on the back of your fuse panel cover, you're usually going to have a map, right? Telling you exactly the electrical components and what you got. So you want to pick something that doesn't really matter. Cigarette lighter right here. What else we got? We got a console socket right here. Front power socket. All that's good stuff to pull from. Do not pull from the airbag or the ECU or any of that stuff right there. Or the blower motor, none of that. Just pull from something that doesn't matter, okay? You don't want to do the push start or none of that. So cigarette lighter on the side right here. This will be the cigarette lighter. This is the front power socket right here, but we can pull from the cigarette lighter. All right, so I made a rookie mistake. I go up under the dashboard of my Nissan only to find out that I made the wrong size harness. The harness that I made was for the standard size fuses. This Nissan fuse box takes the mini size fuses, okay? Don't make the same mistake that I did. Check your fuse box before you make the harness. Now, guess who's not going to make a new harness? Me. So we're about to head over to my BMW because I know my BMW takes the standard size fuse harness. Let's go. All right, so we go over here with our light tester. We hook the alligator clip over to the engine to ground it out. Now we're going to go over here and we go test out the fuses. Now I already looked at my fuse map and I already know that this fuse right here is the fuse for the cigarette lighter. And I'm going to test it out to make sure it has constant power when the car is off. If you take that light tester and you touch those prongs one by one and it doesn't light up, that means it doesn't have constant power when the car is off. It probably has power when the car is on. I take that light tester and I touch it up against that fuse. It lights up. That lets me know that the car has constant power when the car is off. You get it? Yeah, y'all get it. Come on. I'm gonna show you some more, okay? Come on. Now, the first thing you want to do when you get the fuse out is you got to figure out which side is the battery side, okay? So what you're gonna do, pull the fuse out. You're gonna take your light tester. You're gonna stick it down in the fuse in the empty slots. If it lights up, then that's the side that you know that the battery is on. If it doesn't light up, then that's the side that the component goes on. As you can see, our battery side is the left side. So that means our component side is going to be the right side. But Trey, what if the fuse box slots are too thin for the tester to go in? Slow down. I'm gonna teach you, okay? So let's say you had a fuse box like this and the slots are too thin, like you just said, for the tester to go in. Then what do? The easiest solution is to blow a fuse and use a blown fuse as the tester. So what we're going to do is we're going to blow this fuse. You see this middle piece? It should pop. Go take power, connect it on one side, and be careful, okay? Because these wires are live. And when I connect this ground, it should pop the fuse. Boom, you saw the fuse pop. All right, so this is the fuse that we just blew, and we're going to put it in the top slot. All right? We're going to take a good fuse that's connected and put it down here just to show you. So when I take this light tester and I'm going to do all, you got the two little prongs at the top, the light's going to be bright. See how bright that light is? Go to the one on the left. See how bright that light is? Now watch this. This is the blown fuse. Once I go to the one on the right, it's bright, so we know that's the battery side. Once I go to the one on the left, yeah, it's not bright. Now, it's still lighting up a little bit, but that's because we got a LED light showing us which fuse blew. Let me show you. See that red one? So this fuse box actually shows you like, hey, this fuse is blown and there's no continuity in the power. But every fuse box isn't like this. Every fuse box doesn't have the LED lights. So you're going to need this light tester. So we put the original fuse back into the fuse holder. I take the fuse holder over to the fuse box. I make sure the component side is on the right, and on the left-hand side, I know that's my battery side. So I just push it in. We go light up the light bulb that we got. I'm gonna take my alligator clip, hook it up to the engine bay. And when I connect it to the light should light up. Then just to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be and hooked up right, I go up to the fuse holder. I'm gonna take a fuse out just to show you that the light's gonna cut off. Boom, the light cuts off. Now I'm gonna take the fuse, plug it back in, the light should cut back on. And that's how you know you got to connect it the right way. Let's look at our lesson one more time, all right? So we got the battery side right here. This is your fuse and it's running to the battery side. If the fuse blows, the power can't make it over here to the right-hand side to your first light, to your original component. If you make a mistake and tap it on this side, on the components, on the original component side, if the fuse blow, and let's say you had this light number 2 tapped right here, So that means light number 2 is getting its power from right here. If this fuse blows and light number 2 is tapped on your component side, both of your components go out. So light 1 will go out and light 2 will go out. But if you do the correct option and put it right here on the battery side, if this fuse blows, everything's still good. Light number 2 still works. Light number 1 is gonna stop working, but then you have to replace this bad fuse with a good fuse. But if you put it on the component side and this fuse blows, both of these lights or both of the electrical components you got wired up on this one fuse is gonna go out. And that is why it's important that you fuse on the battery side. So that way each electrical component that you tapped into has its own fuse and not on a shared fuse. Because you may make a mistake and overload this one fuse by running all the components off one fuse. Get it? Yeah, you get it. Yes, I understand now, Trey. Thank you. You're the best. I know. Relax, guys. I know. This is the setup for the spade connector tap, okay? But the difference is you're gonna need an inline fuse on this one. You didn't need an inline fuse on the other one because it had a double fuse holder and we could get away with it. But on this one, you need an inline fuse. I hooked it up to a light. We go ground it the same way. Take your fuse out of the fuse box and slide it over here like so. When you put it in, boom, bop, you should be good. So, but you remember, you have to slide this on whatever side the battery is on. You can't just slide it on any side and stick it into the fuse box. You have to figure out what side is the battery on. Quick side note, the spades fuse taps won't work in every car. Every fuse box doesn't have enough room for the tab and the slot to fit in. So you can see on my BMW, it won't fit. But if you go over to my Nissan's fuse box has wide open tab slots. So I could have easily just plugged it right into the Nissan, but the BMW, it won't fit. So to be safe, just go ahead and go with the double head fuse adapters, okay? Just go ahead and get the double head fuse adapters. This is the easiest and #1 way to tap into a fuse box. So I'm gonna show you how to tap the old school fuse box, right? You gonna see these on hot rods, older cars usually built in the 80s, 60s, and 70s. You see all of the placements where the fuses go. This is your fuse, and we have these fuse taps for the glass fuses, right? And they look like this. And you basically pull out a fuse, you slide this on, and the tab is up. It's real simple. It's real simple. Now on this, you have no choice but to use the spade connector tab. All right, so just push it down in there. See it sticking up. Then you take your spade connector, and this pack right here comes with spade connectors that you can crimp right onto the wire. You take it, you put it right on there, and boom, it's that simple. Oh, side note, right here, a lot of these old school fuse boxes already have spade connector tabs in the middle. You see this one says battery, accessory, and ignition. So battery power is your constant. The accessory is when you just cut the car on but you don't start it. And ignition, it only gives power when you actually start the car. I put a link in the description to all of the parts used in this video. I am Trey Wires. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment. I try my best to answer all the questions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you tap into a fuse box. I'll see y'all next video. Peace. I'm out.